Welcome, my dear learners, for this course on finite element analysis. In this module 2, we are discussing on analysis of bars and trusses. So far, we have discussed and concluded our discussion on analysis of 20 bar elements. From today's lecture, we are beginning a new topic, that is analysis of trusses. So before moving to solve problems on trusses, I want to discuss some important basics on trusses, and also I want to address the formulas what we are going to employ for conducting analysis of trusses in today's lecture. Coming for trusses, if you observe mechanical structures, they can be classified as frame structures and truss structures. So if I consider a frame structure is made of number of beams. Each element of an frame is made up of beams like this. So if each element of a structure is made of beam, then we call that structures as frame structures. So this is an example for frame structure. So in case of frame structure, each element is beam. Whereas if a mechanical structure made of number of bar elements, then we call such structure as truss structure. So like this. So if we have loading conditions like this, and each element of this are nothing but bar elements, then we call this as truss structure. Now, if a mechanical structure made up of combination of beams, we call it as frame structure. If a mechanical structure made up of combination of bars, we term it as truss structure. Each element of a truss is bar element. Now, in the analysis of trusses, we are making four very important assumptions. The very important assumptions made in the analysis of truss is that the loads are applied only at joints. The first assumption is that loads are applied only at joints. Loads are applied only at joints. Coming for the second important assumption is that since each element of this truss is bar element, they are subjected for only axial tensile and compressive stresses. None of the elemental member will be subjected for transverse shear or bending moments. They are subjected only for axial tensile and compressive stresses. So each element of a truss is a bar, so therefore they are subjected for only axial, tensile or compressive stresses. None of the element will experience transverse shear force or bending moment. Coming for the third important assumption, is that the joints are frictionless pin joints. The joints are frictionless pin joints. The joints are frictionless pin joints. And coming for the fourth and final assumption, the final assumption is that the self weight is neglected in analysis compared to the externally applied load. Self weight is neglected. So we won't consider the self weight of each element in the analysis of trusses. So these are the four very important assumptions made in the analysis of trusses. Next, as I said, each element of this truss is a bar, that is in local coordinates. If I draw a coordinate for each element, we term it as local coordinate. If I draw a coordinate for the entire system, I call it as a global coordinate. So by using the local coordinate, I can analyze the bars, and if I determine the relationship between local coordinate and global coordinate, we already know the formulas for bars. Just by using the relationship between local and global coordinate, I can transfer all the formulas to trusses. So therefore, the next important discussion is that expression for transformation matrix, or we have relationship between local coordinate and global coordinate system. Or we are going to determine the transformation matrix this is also called as direction cosine matrix. Now, in order to derive the transformation matrix or direction cosine matrix, let us consider a bar element in the global coordinate system, that is x and y. Let me consider a bar like this. So inside which I will plot the local coordinate for that. Let us take this as local coordinate for this. The local coordinate is determined by x dash is the local coordinate. In the local coordinate it is a bar element. Now let us have the displacement at node 1 in the local coordinate as u1 dash. You can call the displacement as u1 dash. Similarly at node 2 the displacement can be termed as u2 dash. So this is node number 1 and this is node number 2. Now once it is displaced or deformed, we will have the displacement in global coordinate can be represented like this, where it is displaced in both x and y direction. So this is node number 1 and also we have this as node number 2. So now it has displaced in both x direction as well as in y direction. So therefore the displacement along x direction can be termed as u1 and the displacement along y direction can be termed as v1 for node 1. So similarly for node 2 I can term the displacement along x direction as u2 and displacement in y direction can be termed as v2. Now from this displacement u1 dash I can split it into two halves. So from this displacement I will exactly plot an perpendicular bisector of this u1. From this corner I will project an perpendicular bisector for this load u1. So if I draw a perpendicular, that will make an angle 90 degree here, and let us say this is the total displacement u1. I can split this u1 into two halves like this as A and B. So u1 dash is split into two halves, that is A and B. So what I mean to say is that we have a triangle like this and we have the u1 dash like this. Let us take this as u1 dash from node 1. So I am drawing a perpendicular to this u1 dash from this corner. So this is at 90 degrees, and here we have the new node, new displacement position, and this I am terming it as V1, and this length is already known to us, it is U1, and this is the displacement in the local coordinate, that is U1 dash, which I will split into two halves as A and B. So if I add A and B, I will get the displacement U1 dash. Now from this I will join it to the node 1 in its new position. Now I will project this B here. So I will project this B here and call this as B. Now if this angle is theta, this angle will also become theta, and this will be 90 degrees. So therefore, from the analysis we can write that U1 dash is equal to A plus B. Now from the first triangle we have like this at node number 1, we have the angle here as 90 and this angle is theta. This length is known to me, which is U1, and this length is A. So therefore, if I write cos theta is adjacent by hypotenuse. So adjacent is A, hypotenuse is U1. So therefore, UA value is nothing but U1 cos theta. A value is nothing but U1 cos theta. So similarly, if I take the second diagram, we have like this. We have drawn the perpendicular bisector whose length is nothing but B, and we have the line like this, and this angle is theta, and this is 90 degrees, and this length is known to us, which is B1, and this length is known to us, which is B. So therefore, B by B1 is opposite by hypotenuse, that is sin theta. So therefore, the value of B is B1 sin theta. So hence, U1 dash is equal to U1 cos theta plus V1 sin theta, where U1 dash is the displacement in local coordinate, where U1 and V1 are the displacements along x and y direction in global coordinate. So similarly, we can prove that U2 dash is equal to U2 cos theta plus V2 sin theta. So hence, if I write this in matrix form, it will turn out to be U1 dash and U2 dash is equal to, we have cos theta sin theta 0 0 0 0 cos theta sin theta, and we have U1 V1 U2 and V2. So displacements in local coordinate, displacements in global coordinate are related with the help of transformation matrix. So this transformation matrix, we have transformation matrix L is equal to small m 0 0 0 0 small m, where L stands for cos theta and m stands for sin theta. So this is what we required. So this is the direction cosine matrix or transformation matrix, and this is the relationship between local coordinate and global coordinate with the help of transformation matrix. Now how to find this cos theta and sin theta is the question. So if I have an element like this in a global coordinate, let us have x and y. So we have an element like this. So node number 1, the coordinates are x1, y1. At node number 2, the coordinates are x2, y2. Now this length and this length are what I require, and also I want to find the length of the element. Length of the element is between node 1 to node 2. That is, so this length you can clearly state. So this is x2 and this is x1. So therefore this length is x2 minus x1. This length is y2 and this length is y1. So this length will become y2 minus y1. Now the angle theta is always measured from the positive x direction in counterclockwise direction. Kindly make a note of it. The angle theta is always measured from the positive x direction in counterclockwise direction. So therefore the direction cosines will become L is equal to cos theta, will become cos theta is equal to x2 minus x1 by length of the element. x2 minus x1 by length of the element. Similarly m, which is nothing but sin theta, will become y2 minus y1 by length of the element, where length of the element from Pythagoras theorem I can write this side square plus this side square should be equal to length square. So therefore it is square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So this is what we got. In general, we can state that cos theta is equal to x final node minus x initial node by length of the element. Sin theta m is equal to y final node minus y initial node by length of the element, where length of the element is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So this is about direction cosines L and m. Next, moving for the next topic. The next topic is element stiffness matrix. So if I want to derive element stiffness matrix, we already know that each element of an truss is a bar in its local coordinate, and we also know the transformation matrix from local coordinate to global coordinate system. So therefore, by transforming the bar in the local coordinate to the global coordinate, we can get the relationship for trusses. So therefore, let us make use of relationship what we already derived for bar, transform it to the global coordinate, we will get the results for trusses. So now, if I recall the strain energy equation for bar, we have strain energy equation for bar is given by half Q transpose stiffness matrix of bar element into Q. This you people already know. So this holds good in the local coordinate system. So therefore, I should write it as Q dash stiffness matrix of the element dash Q dash T. So when I use primes dash, I speak about local coordinate system. So in the local coordinate system, it holds good. It is a bar element. Now I want to transform it to the global coordinate. We know that Q dash is equal to L into Q. So from this we can state Q dash is equal to L into Q. This we can conclude from this. And very important relation what we have drawn. Q dash displacement in local coordinate is equal to transformation matrix times T displacement in global coordinate. So substituting Q dash is equal to L into Q in this equation, the strain energy can be written as half Q dash is equal to L into Q transpose stiffness matrix of bar. Q dash is equal to L into Q, where L is transformation matrix, Q is displacement in global coordinate system. Now if I simplify further, we know that A into B whole transpose is not equal to A transpose B transpose, but it is equal to B transpose into A transpose. What I mean to say is that matrix L into matrix Q transpose is equal to Q transpose into L transpose. This is from properties of matrix strain energy. So therefore, if I substitute and solve, I will get the expression for strain energy as half Q transpose. I will take out, I will get L transpose Ke dash stiffness matrix of bar element times L into Q. So this is nothing but the strain energy is equal to half Q transpose stiffness matrix of truss into Q. Now stiffness matrix of truss is given by stiffness matrix for truss is given by K of an element is equal to L transpose Ke dash L. What is the value of L transpose? L transpose is this one. If I transpose this, I will get the matrix as L M 0 0 0 0 L M, and stiffness matrix is A by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 for bar. Transformation matrix is L M 0 0 0 0 L M. So therefore, if I simplify, I will get the stiffness matrix as AE by length of the element. I should do matrix multiplication with these two. The answer should be multiplied with this. So if I do matrix multiplication, finally I will get the answer as L square LM LM M square minus L square minus LM LM minus LM minus M square. So here I will get minus L square minus LM minus LM minus M square. Here I will get L square LM LM M square. So this is the expression for element stiffness matrix for truss. So this is of the order 4 cross 4. This is because of the reason for each element we should determine 4 unknowns, that is u1 v1 displacement along x direction and displacement along y direction for node 1, u2 v2 displacement along x direction and displacement along y direction for node 2. For each element we should determine 4 unknowns, that is u1 v1 u2 v2. Hence the element stiffness matrix is of the order 4 cross 4, where L is equal to cos theta, which is nothing but x2 minus x1 by LE, that is x final node minus x initial node by length of the element, and M is nothing but sin theta, which is y final node minus y initial node by length of the element. So we have completed, or we have derived the element stiffness matrix also for truss by using the element stiffness matrix of bar and the relationship between local coordinate and global coordinate system. And next very important topic to be known is elemental stresses and strains. So directly let me go for stress. For elemental stress, we know that sigma is equal to EP Q dash. This I clearly explained in our lecture 1 during the analysis of bar itself of this module 2, EB Q dash. So Q dash is nothing but L into Q. So I am converting from bar to truss to the global coordinate. It will become EB L into Q. So if I substitute and solve, stressing each element will become E. Strain displacement matrix is already known to us, minus 1 by LE, 1 by LE. L is already known, LM 0 0 0 0 LM, and Q is U1 V1 U2 V2. So therefore stress in each element is E by length of the element minus L minus M plus L plus M times U1, V1, U2, V2. So this is the expression for elemental stress. Elemental stress is equal to Young's modulus by length of the element minus L minus M plus L plus M is a vector multiplied by U1, V1, U2, V2 vector. So we have obtained the expression for stress also. Then finally, if you want to determine the elemental force, so in the local coordinate, let us consider the force as F1 dash and F2 dash. So F1 dash and F2 dash will be equal to transformation matrix, that is LM 0 0 0 0 LM times the global force, that is force at node 1 in x direction is Fx1, in y direction is Fy1, in node 2 it is Fx2 and Fy2. That is Fx1, Fy1, Fx2, Fy2. So elemental force is same as the elemental displacement relationship between local and global coordinate system. So similarly, we can find the elemental force. So we have discussed what is the meaning of truss and what is the difference between truss and frame, and what are the important assumptions made in the analysis of truss, and we have derived the relationship between local coordinate and global coordinate. Thereby we have extracted the direction cosine matrix, which is very important for analysis of trusses. The direction cosine matrix is LM 0 0 0 0 LM, where L is cos theta, M is sin theta. How to determine that for an element also I have discussed, and later we derived element stiffness matrix for truss with the help of local coordinate system. That is, in a local coordinate system, each element of a truss is a bar. So by using the notations of bar and with the help of transformation matrix, we have transformed the bar into truss, and we have derived the element stiffness matrix for truss element. So each element of this truss is bar in local coordinate, whereas it is called as truss in global coordinate. Kindly keep that in mind. Each element is bar in its local coordinate, whereas in case of global coordinate it is a truss. So we obtained the element stiffness matrix for truss. It is of order 4 cross 4. This is because of the reason for each element of a truss we should determine 4 unknowns. 2 displacements in one node and 2 displacements in another node, that is U1, V1 at node 1, U2, V2 at node 2. I will be using U for the displacement along x direction, V for displacement along y direction. And next, we already know the expression for stress for a bar, which is nothing but EBQ, where E is Young's modulus, B is strain displacement matrix, and Q is nodal displacement vector. Now I want to transform this into global coordinate. I multiplied it with LQ. We know the value of L, that is direction cosine matrix, and Q is the displacement of truss, elemental displacement. Now with the matrix multiplication and simplification, we found that elemental stress is equal to Young's modulus by length of the element minus L minus M. LM is a vector which should be multiplied with the nodal displacement of the element. And next, finally, if I want to determine elemental force, if I am interested to determine the elemental force, then elemental force F1 dash F2 dash in the local coordinate is equal to transformation matrix times the forces in global coordinate, that is Fx1, Fy1, Fx2, Fy2, where 1 and 2 subscripts stands for node number, x and y stands for direction. So This is about the very important introduction for the analysis of trusses. So all these formulas we are going to use to solve problems. With this very brief introduction to analysis of trusses, from next lecture I will take up numerical problems on analysis of truss. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.